Okay. Oh, Klal Zion. Klal Zion. Hilchos Rechilas Klal Zion. The Klal Zion for Isra Sipur Rechilas B'chon Yonov. We will include here, explain here, the use of recounting, telling over Rechilas. The way Sifim Aleph. Ein Chiluk Bisa Sipur Rechilas. Beinim HaMasaper Isha makes no difference. Who's saying the rechilas, whether it's a man or a woman, karev or whether it's a relative or someone who's not. It says even if you heard it, someone heard someone say divrei gnai against someone's father and mother, and because it brought him so much pain what the guy said, Elohim said he told his parents what this person said about them. So it's also rechilas. Gam ein and now woman over here. There's a little no. What did al rabbi? Same thing is true if you heard someone say something negative about your rebbe, and you tell your rebbe, hey, Ein lahaksha says the Chosam, don't ask me much. Isa b'kedushin. The Gemara Kedushin Daf Ayin says Oslo v'Amrule. They went and they told him the Rebbe Yehuda. So you see that they did tell Rebbe Yehuda. The Pashat Ozer Hashem Shulcha Rebbe Yehuda. There it was the shliach of Rabbi Yehuda, I guess, sent a shliach to do something. Berashi Sham Dibra Hamaskal Notar Veles Bei Mishum Lishna Bishna Tabach Kach Lefnei Bezdin Masha Echa Biza Oyesa Bezdin. If Bezdin sends someone to act upon their din Torah or something, and that person, speaks disparagingly about the Bezdin, derogatory, and so that person's allowed to come back to Bezdin, the shliach. Tell Besson that this was the guy's response. V'gamu mem kibet trei v'ayim b'cheshem nisvu soif simon ches v'ver ha'goy l'sham. Okay, hey, so review gam kain l'b'soif tetzir shlucha d'rabban. Okay, so that's a different case, but in a normal case where someone spoke bad about even your parents or your rebbe, and you tell the rebbe, you sorry. I mean, chiluk. There's also no difference in how misha misaper and love who isha isha. Makes no difference if you're talking about a man or a woman, gadol or cotton, an adult or a child. Hakol kama shavrianu le'el. It's all as we explained earlier in haLashon hara b'chelik aleph kol chesef al ches gimel. V'yesh anoshim. There are people who stumble. Shenichshalom b'zeh she'echad reish shnei norim makin zeh zeh. You see a fight in shul, or in the schoolyard. Two kids are fighting with each other. So you go, you tell one of the fathers, how that boy hit your son. But there's a we've done many times. This results becomes like a snowball effect. Very bad thing. The father finds the kid that hit his son and smacks him up because he hit, don't you touch my son. But there's an asach kach machoks v'dem ben hamsem shalom. So now the father of the other guy, really upset at this father for hitting his son. And then that becomes like, messy. Just violent. Okay. But he says this happens commonly in shul. Right? The father, I guess the kids are running loose and wild while the father is officially davening. And then there's a fight, and then he comes into the shore and tells the father that this guy hit, the son hit your son, etc. If we want to calculate here the tremendous Yisurim, it happened because this guy did rechilas. Can't count them. You don't have to say many of me. Certainly, it's true. If you're not even sure who was the wrong, who was the kid that was wrong, who started the fight, you're not even sure. Those are and say you can't go tell the father. Even if you know absolutely this kid was the guilty party. I feel Alpha Pecan and like the lover shall Shane still. So what? You can't go tell the father of the second one, unless you fulfill all the conditions that we will see in cloud test, which is when you're allowed to say Rachilas. But otherwise, it doesn't matter. Vidai says, if Bays, the Isra Rachilas Wafil Amaoritz. The Isra Rachilas is even on an Amoritz, Kigamu Bukal Mecha. An Amoritz doesn't stop being a kosher Jew. And even if you see clearly that this Amoritz disgraced not another person for no reason, but then who in Moise Plain and the other person is absolutely right, doesn't deserve what this guy said. So, but we've already explained the Israel that Israel is even it's true, so it's true. He did do it. He was wrong. He shouldn't have said it. He said it. You still can't go tell the other party. If we're talking about saying Rechis about a Talmud Chacham, Haven Yosef Godol, it's a great Aver, Yosef Otzum, and they come at Tamim because of a few reasons, and he lists off here 3 reasons. Number 1, mitzad etzam harachilas. The actual Aver itself, the Halei Posher, he says it's a given. Shem b'rechis shesipa chaver, hoisa taruva sheker. He says because if in the rechilas that you said there was some non-truth there, certainly it's a big aver. It's one thing to say over the truth, but if you're also mixing in some non-truth, in our case, you want to help your he says generally, when you talk about a Talmud Chacham, that it's not really true. So we could assume a Talmud Chacham doesn't wrong another person or speak bad about another person for no reason. And the given is, and that we have to, our starting point is that Talmud Chacham was correct in what he had done. And therefore, now, if you're going to say over what this Talmud Chacham did to that person, you're over on Rechilas, and you're giving it over as though Talmud Chacham did something wrong. So if this guy goes over and recounts this to another person, or to that person, as a wrong, that Talmud Chacham did something wrong, it's Rechilas of Sheker, and that's much more serious. Number 2, Mitzadat Smiyos Haishahu. Besides the fact that you're speaking bad about the Talmud Chacham, we have a mitzvah of connecting, of creating a relationship with Talmidei Chachamim in any way that we can. Lechov Lishto is to eat, to drink with them. Las is pragmatia, Talmud Chacham, do business with them. Hasibito Talmud Chacham, marry off your daughter to a Talmud Chacham, learn B'em Kovet Arbe, and to give them a lot of covet. Balachas Kama Kama, so certainly says the Chatzam Shal Orim Adanim Alav, to create that people will speak bad about him, make machlokas. That's that was a garim hipokol. That's the opposite of all of this. So that's another reason why speaking Rechilas about a Talmud Chacham is that much worse. And number 3, mitzad hasiba tzamachas b'sipurei. The third reason why it's worse is from the result, from saying it over. If you hear that some, Bowery bum said something about you, you shrug it off. Because, okay, who is he? Doesn't bother you. So if it's Staman Amoritz said something bad about you and someone told you about it, he's over Rechilas, but the result isn't so bad because I'm not going to take it serious. I'm not going to. But if someone tells me this Talmud Chacham Gino, I say that a Talmud Chacham, an important person, said bad about me, I'm going to take that much more serious. Ravada Yosef kind of sin a believer alone. You mean much more upset. And many times it creates a machoikis. And certainly if the Talmud Chacham you're saying Rechilas about is the Rav of the city, it certainly could cause a lot of bad things. It could cause that people will stop respecting the Rav and listen to the Rav. to make a big machlokas in the city. The Kampam Yerim or the Chayiv Mamashay there many times will cause the Rav to lose his job. And therefore, it is much more serious when you say Rechilas about, I know it's on a Talmud Chacham, that Talmud Chacham said something or did something. But he says it's certainly true that it's an Isser, even if you're saying it about an Amoritz. Now let's learn Shmiras haLashon. Perik Yud. Sharatruna Perik Yud. Gamze Minyan Midas HaBitochen. He's talking more in this parak about Bitochen. The first piece, Ube'emes Kashes Boinen Adam Tarchas Boishe Suli Kolim Ech Loi Niftach B'Hashem. Says a person gives thought, he really should be embarrassed how he doesn't trust in Hashem. V'aktim Mashabriauti Yakosu, says now, I guess he's going to explain it. He's going to introduce it with how he explained the pasuk in the Navi. Bidchuv Hashem Adayad, Ki B'koach Hashem Tzur Olamim. Briauti D'Loshen Adayad, what does it mean? Bidchuv Hashem Adayad. Adayad means like forever. What does it mean Adayad? Bolo Horis Lanu. Says the Chavetz Chaim, those words Adayad are coming to teach us Sha'af is my name, Shanarim Tzas Hester Ponim. Even in our times when we see some Hester Ponim, we don't understand what's happening. We don't see clearly how Hashem's running the world. As well as at the time of the Beis Hamikdash, there was a clarity. And now there's a lot of fog, a lot of darkness. And because of that, there are people who are kofar. They don't believe in Hashem. They rebel against Hashem because they don't see, where was God in the Holocaust? They don't see. There was a big darkness. Alpha Pekin, Yiftach Hashem says, the Chavetz Chaim, that's what Adayad means. That even at a time where it's not so clear, Hashem's not so clear, his actions are not clear, yet you should be B'Teach Hashem. Moshe L'ma Davidim. How can we compare this to L'melech Echad Shayal Kama Meos Medinas? There was a king who ruled a few hundred countries. V'nigas Malchusa Brave Oiz V'Hadar. He ran his kingship, splendor. He was able to be mafarnis. All the countries, all the sarim, all the nobles, in a very respectable way, he was able to feed and pay them in a very respectable way. And then they found a few individuals in a small city that out of their arrogancy, they rebelled against the king. And the king heard about it. And while they were sitting there to judge what should be the punishment for these rebels, the king at that point, at the morning, took a walk in his vineyard. He heard a bird singing in a very sweet way, and it was a very pretty bird. So he told one of his servants to take him a young catch that bird and put him in the castle, so that he could enjoy hearing the bird and its beauty. And the servant did that. When he was bringing the oif to the king, the bird started singing. One of the foolish people there said, Kama gedoyla teshukasi l'rois chavlishmos kol shiros v'hanaima. He says, "How much I want to have such a desire to see you and hear your voice. Become a god of tsari b'zachar yisrael v'goyin kasher yelecha ki ma'ayin ya'ata mezayincha." And I feel so bad for you when I think about now that you're going to be in the throne room. Where are you going to get your food? Until now, you were out in the field, in the garden. And didn't you hear that there are rebels rebelling against the king? So where's your food going to come from? But Yan Evan Amelchelov, the servant of the king, said to this foolish person, foolish person, a king who's ruling over hundreds of countries, and he has tremendous treasuries full. And then I'm mitar v'sarach tshuva neimus kailo lita galez gagia trua historically de sipukai. The bird has to worry that from such a king he won't get the few kernels of grain that he needs. Machmas because shenimtzas be'ezim medina irktan, because in one small city there's a few rebels. So you think now the king is not going to be able to feed the bird? How foolish are you? Shabanim tzu shnayim shleishim ordim. So he says, even though it's the next day, but it's the middle of a story. So, he says the same thing is true. That's a mush. So, but it's so true to with a kalvachomer. Kalvachomer 1,000 times over. We really think about it. Hashem created the world. This physical world, and the spiritual world. We know that there's many worlds in the higher worlds. What's that on an amount? But generally, we count it as three worlds. That's where the angels are. Above that, it's that's where there's the splendor of Hashem. Chazal tells us, which refers to Olam Atzilus, my name, Vilach Foidi, Barasiv. That's the Olam Habriya, Barasiv. Shoshamu Kesek Kvodish Kosh Baruch Hu Yitzartim, Olam HaYitzira, Shoshamu Chayas HaKodesh, the Malachim, Shura Yecheskel, Hanavi that Yecheskel saw in his Nevuah, B'chol Olam HaMalachim, Afasisiv Hu Olam Hazeh, that's the Olam Asiyah, this world, B'chol HaGalgalim. V'yidu Hashem Olam Hazeh B'chol Galgalim Hu Ke'en Ve'efes Neged Olam HaYitzira. And we know that our world, with all the Galgalim, means the suns and the moons and the stars, is nothing compared to the Olam HaYitzira. That there are groups, many groups of Malachim, Aden Shir, and in every group of Malachim, there's no number of Malachim, tens of thousands serve him, and Ribe Revav, like millions, stand in front of him. That description in Daniel is one group of Malachim, and there's innumerable groups. He says, is there an amount? Can you give a number to Hashem's battalions? Perik Lamed Al Sha'arba Meos V'Tishim V'Shisha Alofim Riverwise Malachim Ashtaris Mekatshim Shmosh Kodesh Baruch Hu Tamid. I'm not sure how you do this number. 490 Sha'arba Meos V'Tishim V'Shisha Alofim, 6,000 river voices, 10,000s. I don't know how to translate the number. It's a big number. Constantly are praising Hashem. Yitzia Sachama, from sunrise Vachkia Oimim till the evening, they say Kodesh Kodesh. Mishkia Sachama, from sunset Vad Yitziosa until the sun comes out, I guess, in the morning, they say Baruch Gavoid. Yidu Shekol Abruim Afa Gavoy Sheguvayim Kun Sichim Lashpasa Shekodesh Baruch Hu. And we know that everything in creation, as high as they are, Malachim, etc., they all need HaKadosh Baruch Hu's constant shefa to make them exist. Kumash Kosav Ata Sisa Va'ata Mechayes Kulam. We say it at the end of Vaverach David, right? Hashem, you did it all, and your Mechayes Kulam, you give sustenance to all. Ach Ein Hashpos Muzanu Kumash Shalonu. The Malachim need a different type of sustenance. Kumazin Ruchani V'dak. It's a much more spiritual. Moshe Kosav lechem abirmo chalish ramu chazal shazel lechem shemalach yeshor seichel. Okay, we're going to stop because he develops this mashal and this idea that so we'll see how it goes.